violence too. So I go around correcting my name. You can't hear me?
Close.
Can't hear.
Close.
Speak like this.
Yeah.
Now can you hear me?
Better.
Okay.
And
Yell.
yell.
I don't want to yell. I yell all the time. I'm not going to tell you a heart-wrenching story. I'm going to tell you how all this happened, my involvement with this happened. I'm going to tell you what Stop the Silence is working on currently. I've had years of crying. I've had years of painful memories, not for me, from hearing stories of others. I'm not a survivor of child sexual abuse. I'm a public health professional, an international public health professional. And in the year 2000, I ran across some information on the internet from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and they were looking for people to carry out research on interpersonal violence. And one of the areas in interpersonal violence was child sexual abuse, along with physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect. And I knew two people at that point, one of them being my sister, Amy Pine, who's a therapist out in California, who had been working with survivors of child sexual abuse, mostly women, but also some men. And she had gotten quite involved with the therapeutic process. So I called up Amy and we partnered with each other to get in a request from the U.S. government to support prevention and mitigation aspects of child sexual abuse, prevention and treatment. We ended up, actually, I ended up writing a proposal that got funded, that ended up as a multi-year proposal and project out in California that I assisted on through media outreach, community outreach, etc. Long story. I started programming in this issue in the year 2002. Stop the Silence was incorporated in 2004. I've been working on this issue for 17 years, and I will tell you the God's honest truth, I have almost quit more times than I can count because of the sadness, the frustration, and the lack of progress on this issue. On the positive end, from the year 2000 until the year 2015, there's huge amounts of progress, and we all need to keep going on it. In 2000, when I would pick up the phone to get support from companies and nonprofits and the government, saying, my name is Dr. Pamela Pine, and I'm calling from the organization Stop the Silence, Stop Child Sexual Abuse, everybody would lower their voices. Everybody would stop talking. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to talk about it. And what I now have today in the year 2017, and it has been for some years, is that now when I call up people, I call up companies, I call up the government, I call up nonprofit organizations, and I say, hello, my name is Dr. Pamela Pine, and I'm calling from Stop the Silence, Stop Child Sexual Abuse. I get thank you for your work. Verizon, when I call up with a problem in my home, oh, what's Stop the Silence? This is what we do. Thank you for your work. So the word is traveling, everybody. The word is really getting out there. So now where are we focusing our attention? For 15 years, we have focused on media advocacy, on education in the communities, the schools, the companies, the governments. Jill and I were just out at the Navy. We were the chosen charity speakers for an awards ceremony at the Navy. I will tell you, 15 years ago, that would not have happened. They would not have chosen an organization called Stop the Silence, Stop Child Sexual Abuse. They would have chosen someone else. I will guarantee that. So we work on that advocacy, we work on that education wherever we can go, but we're also working on a larger strategic framework. We're training educators, counselors, psychologists, government members at the highest nonprofits, etc. Jill and I, this past January, we went to do a second training for the government of Cyprus. The entire school system, all teachers in Cyprus are being trained on child sexual abuse prevention and mitigation. All counselors, all psychologists, and now we're working on ideas for a national campaign.
Oh no.
The pain of child sexual abuse, the outcomes of child sexual abuse are horrendous. They include everything from poor school performance to over-sexualized behaviors to prostitution, promiscuity, to